हेलो स्टूडेंट। आज हम देखेंगे केमिकल इक्वेशन से टॉपिक चैप्टर नंबर 3 ऑफ 10th क्लास। लेट अस फर्स्ट लुक एट द केमिकल रिएक्शंस इन द एक्टिविटी सेकंड। सो एक्टिविटी सेकंड हमें यहाँ पे देखना पड़ेगा। व्हाट इज द एक्टिविटी सेकंड? सो दिस इज we have given there are 5 types of activity. Then activity second is like this. What is the activity? देखो, zinc dust into the copper sulfate solutions. We have to add the zinc dust. I show you with the help of highlighter. Look at here. Zinc dust is add zinc dust into the copper sulfate solutions. What happen when we add the zinc dust in copper sulfate solutions? This is the activity. For this activity we have to write here the chemical equations. Then how we can write chemical equations, how we can write the chemical formula for this. So look at here, this is the topic. So this is very simple topic. Let us explain here. Let us first look the chemical reactions. We have already looked the reactions. A colorless solutions of zinc sulfate is formed. What will be the product? Zinc sulfate will be formed while additions of zinc dust to blue solutions of copper sulfate. This is the activity. ये activity में दिया है. This chemical reactions can be written in brief as follows. Look at here. In word equations we can write as aqueous solutions of copper sulfate plus zinc dust gives us aqueous solutions of zinc sulfate plus copper also. This is the word equations. This simple way of representations of chemical reactions is called word equations. इसे हम word equations बोलते हैं. Word equations can be written in the further condensed form, that's using chemical formulae. We by using chemical formula we can write the word equations as copper sulfate plus zinc gives us, this arrow shows us that the reactions is forward in these directions. So zinc sulfate is formed and with copper. This is the chemical formula equations. The representations of chemical reactions in condensed form using chemical formula is called chemical equations. This is the definitions of chemical equations. What is chemical equations? I am repeat again. The representations of chemical reactions in the condensed form using chemical formula is called chemical equations. In the above equations, copper sulfate and zinc are the reactant. Look at this. These both are. I show you with another marker here. First thing we have to erase here. That time you will get which is the reactant and which is the product. I show you the reactants here with green marker. Copper sulfate plus zinc. These are the reactant. And what is the product? Product I show you with the help of red marker. This is the product, zinc sulfate plus copper. This is product, reactants and copper. So we have written here reactant on left hand side. So with the help of marking I show you these are the reactants, and reactants are at left hand side, that is LHS, and these are the product, and product we have written here on right hand side. So, and the between them there is a arrow for representations, and this story we have given here. In these above equations, copper sulfate and zinc are the reactant, and they react with each other to form copper particles, that is copper, and solutions of colorless zinc sulfate. This is ZnSO4 as the product having totally different properties. The ionic bond in the reactant copper sulfate breaks and the ionic bond in the product zinc sulfate is formed during this reaction. So this was very short topic. This topic name was chemical equations. The next, writing of chemical equations. Chemical equations कैसे लिख सकते हैं? For this we have given here some conventions follow while writing the chemical equations. There are 6 conventions, and these conventions we see here we can see here the step by step. The first, in chemical reactions, the reactants are written on left hand side. Earlier I mentioned here that kind, and while the product on right hand side. An arrow heading toward product the between this, and this arrow indicates the directions of reactions. Next, second conventions, if the reactants and product are two or more, then the positive sign or plus sign in between them, we can write the positive sign between them. For example, in equation second, plus sign is drawn between the copper sulfate and zinc there. Look at here, we have written here plus sign, this one plus sign. Then next, next conventions we have finished second convention, third convention. To make the chemical equations more informative, the physical states of reactants are indicated in these equations, and the physical states are they are gaseous, liquids, and solid state. We can mention by indicating the writing the letters G for gases, L for liquids, and S for solids respectively in the brackets. Moreover, if the product gases instead of G, it can be indicated by an arrow. When the product are gases, that time we can indicated the product is gases by arrow vertically pointing upward directions, and the product form is insoluble in solid, then form precipitate. That time we can write as precipitate. In short, PPT also we can write, and then instead of S, it can be designated by downward arrow pointing towards downward side. And then reactants and product are in the form of solutions in the water. They are said to be present in aqueous solution state. That time this state is indicated by putting the letters AQ, aqueous, in bracket. That time we can say that the solutions in water, the product are in the form of solutions in water, and they said to be aqueous solutions. Thus, the chemical equation second we can write in this by with the help of third conventions as shown below. Look at here, copper sulfate solutions is solutions in water. That's why it's we can say at aqueous solutions. Zinc is a solid dust powder. That's why we have written S in bracket here. The arrow pointing towards the reactions proceed. And zinc sulfate is an aqueous form, and copper again we get here as a solid substance. That's why we have written here S. This is the third convention. Now fourth, when heat is from given from outside and bring about the reactions, it is indicated by the sign delta written here. The signs seen like triangle, but this known as delta written above the arrow, and it indicates the directions of the reactions. This sign is written on the arrow which indicates the directions of reactions. For example, the reactions in which slag lime is formed on heating limestone is written as follows. Look at here, calcium carbonate gives us calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas, that's why we have shown here the arrow, and this delta we have given a triangle we have given because for calcium carbonate when we heating the calcium oxide is formed. That's why we have written here delta. This is slag lime is formed on limestone. This is limestone. When we hitting limestone, we can form we got here slag lime. That's why we have given delta here, and removal of carbon dioxide gas. Then similarly, the fact that heat is released during the reaction between the aqueous solutions of copper sulfate and zinc dust indicated as follows. Look at here, copper sulfate solutions, that is aqueous form, plus zinc gives us zinc sulfate plus copper, and we have written here excess amount of heat is released. That's why we written here heat with plus sign. And fifth conventions, it is necessary to fulfill the certain conditions like specific temperatures, pressures, catalysts, etc. to bring about some reactions. These conditions are indicated by below and above the arrow and indicating the directions of the reactions. For example, the reactions of vegetable oils takes place at temperature 60 degree with the hydrogen gas in presence of nickel catalyst, and it is follows as. Look at here, we have taken vegetable oil plus hydrogen gas and 60 degree Celsius, and this is the conditions of 60 degree Celsius, and nickel catalyst we use here for this reaction, so we have written it under the directions of reactions. And last one, special informations like names of product we can write here. The name of this nitrogen dioxide we can written here, and nitrogen oxide, nitric oxide we can written here. This kind we have finished here the topic of uh, writing the conventions follow for this reaction. So this is very simple topic. Our next topic is balancing chemical equations. We will see in our next video. So boys, write these conventions in your notebook and read for it carefully and use these conventions while writing of chemical reactions. Thank you.